Hello and welcome to the Main Cave. Now in today's video, I'm going to tell you what I bought recently that is nearly amazing. Now don't get me wrong, it's great, there's a lot to love and I am keeping them, but it just could be tweaked just a touch to be a bit better. So in a previous video on accessories for the ROG Ally, I recommended these. These are the official ROG Cetras. They are very good and I thoroughly recommend them. However, when these popped up on my radar, I had to take a look. And it's these, the Soundcore VR P10s. Don't let that VR part of the name put you off. As I'll show you in this video, this can be used, and I have used them in many more ways than just on my Quest 2. And trust me, using them on VR is actually the weakest part, but more on that later. So if you're new here, we make regular videos on gaming and technology for your smart home, so please do consider subscribing, as we may make a video to make your life easier, and I wouldn't want you to miss out. So please do hit subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Now in this video, I'm going to give you the lowdown on the Soundcore VR P10s, including the price, the unboxing, first impressions, the dongle, the features, the connections, the app, the sound quality, comfort, and finally, things that I don't like about them. Let's start with the price then. At £72, they aren't the cheapest, but come in and around the same as the Cetras. But for me, I got them in a deal of about £10 less, so £60 for me, which I'd say is about a comfortable price for these. Then when it arrived, it came in a small box, packaged up nicely as you'd expect. And as soon as you open the box, you're greeted with the buds themselves in the charging case. Then under that is the manual, USB-C charging cable, 3 sets of tips, small, medium and large, and then finally the all-important 2.4 GHz dongle. The first impressions are superb. They feel light, they look premium, and a small thing, the tips are really easy to get onto the buds, but without being easy to pull off. It's very nice. So each bud has 3 lights on the side, which can be customized in the app. The case itself has an indicator on the front, and the buds charge themselves while in this case. And there's also this, the 2.4 dongle, which is the most exciting part of these buds. Yes, there are other buds out there that use a dongle, but these, I think, have the edge ahead of them. Let's take a closer look at it then. And as you can see, they connect using USB-C, and on the top of it is a USB-C port, which allows for pass-through charging. This is superb, as with the Meta Quest, you can happily play and charge with a cable, or as I do, with the attached battery headset. But here's my first issue really, which I can't really hold it against it as it's not designed to, but you can't do data pass through. So plugging this into an ROG Ally or a Steam Deck, you won't be able to use it docked and charging whilst using this dongle. You'd need to use Bluetooth. But on the Quest, charging pass through worked a dream. Finally, you can connect these to multiple consoles without having to swap dongles. Just buy a spare dongle, plug it in, and then use the app, which I'll talk about later, to swap to that particular device. However, at the time of recording, the dongles aren't available, and I don't know how much these spare ones will actually cost. The case is a nice feel, around the size of an AirPods Pro case, and as we said earlier, has an indicator on the front showing off if it's charging, if it's connecting to Bluetooth, etc. On the bottom is a USB-C port for charging, which in my test doesn't take long to get up to full. Next up is connections and what I've had it working on. So I've had this on my Meta Quest 2, my ROG Ally, my Steam Deck, PS5 and Nintendo Switch. All worked perfectly just by plugging in the dongle and not having to do anything else to either the buds or the system. Now let's take a look at some of the features, and for this, who love a number, here are some stats on the buds. They use the LC24 codec with under 30 milliseconds latency, 11mm drivers, dual connection, IPX4 and 6 to 24 hour playtime. What stands out for me is latency. It's a superb feature. You won't notice any lag using the supplied dongle, but you can also connect these buds via Bluetooth, so you can use them on anything with a Bluetooth connection. But also, you can have it connected simultaneously with the dongle. But you can't listen to music at the same time. When the sound plays in from the phones that are connected via Bluetooth, such as music or notification, the in-game music via the dongle stops and automatically clicks back to the game when the phone has finished. IPX4 means you can wear them while working out, sweat won't hurt them, which is dead handy for particularly intensive VR games. And the playtime is around 6 to 24 hours, which means they have a 6-hour playtime, which can be extended 3 further times by charging them in the case. Not only all of that, you also get a brilliant app which can be downloaded from your particular app store. Connection is very simple. You just need to have them connected to your phone via Bluetooth. Just hold the button on the back of the case and it appears in your list of devices as a Soundcore VR P10. Fire up the app and it's instantly recognised that you have your buds connected. First thing I had to do was update the firmware. It took a few times, but eventually after 15 minutes or so, I had my dongle, case and buds updated to the latest firmware. So the app really is good and you have control over a number of functions. First up from the home screen is the lights. So change the colours, do a breathing or static and it instantly changes on the buds. Below that is the equaliser, plenty of presets such as dance, spoken word, R&B, etc. Or if you want to change it, you can change it how it suits by doing the custom equaliser. You can also customise the tapping functions of the buds. Single, double and hold can all be set. A very comprehensive app, very impressive. So then how do they sound? Well, I have AirPods Pro and Cetras to compare and it keeps up with them both. The ability to change the frequencies is a huge plus and helps enormously. Out of the box, you really do need to tweak it, but they do sound good if you can dial it in to how you like. You can add more bass if you need to or tweak it so you can hear footsteps more clearer. Overall, you don't really need to rely on them being factory set, just set it to how you like it sounding. Now comfort is a real positive here. They sit firmly in the ear and for the first time ever I've used medium tips as I'm usually a large. I've worn them for hours at a time and I've not felt any discomfort. There is no ANC on these, which is okay as I'm sure the battery would be unusable if it was, but you get a decent fitting tip on these and the sound isolation is good enough. I felt like it was blocking out most if not all of the background murmurs from around me. Next up is the mic. I had this tested on my PS5 and although it's not the worst sounding mic, it wasn't great. It was a bit echoey and distant, but was loud enough, and here's a quick example of how it sounds.
Hello, this is MainCave using the Soundcore VR P10s with the mic on the PS5, so let me know how it sounds. What do you think of the sound quality of the mic?
So what don't I like about them? Well, after my weeks of use, I've only found a couple of things that could be better. We've already touched on some things, but for me, the one thing that could be improved is the volume. On handheld devices, it's okay. Switch, Steam Deck and Ally, you can pump it the volume to a decent loudness. But on VR, which they're designed for, it's just a bit too quiet. I've no idea why, and I reached out to Soundcore to see if they could answer this, and at the time of recording, ironically, I've heard nothing back. Even on PS5, it's a touch quiet, and I wouldn't be comfortable using them on there. But for handheld, they are loud enough, just. The Switch was the loudest out of the 3 handhelds, but not by much, and all of them I had to have it up to 100% volume. And next up, we've already talked about this, and it's the data pass-through. Admittedly, this is very niche and not an advertised feature, so let's not get too hung up on this, but I also couldn't get simple charging pass-through on my Ally. Then again, it was successful on the Steam Deck and the Switch, so not all lost, and as for the Quest, it was perfect and as described. And finally, I did get a couple of disconnections when using the dongle. These were few and far between, so I don't see it as a problem day to day and I won't hold it against them. Certainly not enough to worry about too much. So there are so many positives to these buds and a few minor negatives, but the volume level may put you off, certainly in VR, but as I said, not too bad on handheld consoles. The lack of lag, the style, the charging, the case, the app, the flexibility all make this a great package for someone who wants to be lag-free buds, doesn't want to have to rely on Bluetooth. Just maybe first if you're in a position to be able to test the volume just in case. Would I recommend these? Yes, I would if you're looking for a lag-free audio on handheld devices, as there's so much to love. I'm keeping mine and will be using them on the ROG Ally and my Steam Deck when out and about. On VR, I'd say you need to test the volume is good enough for you, but it's certainly better than the inbuilt speakers, but just try and test it out if you can first. So that's it then. That was my look at the Soundcore VR P10s. Thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And until the next video, bye-bye.